Well, there we have it. With the exception of Manchester United versus Wolves that is going to be concluded tonight, Newcastle United are guaranteed to be first in the Premier League table after match week 1 because of the fact that we beat Aston Villa 5-1 on our opening day at St James's Park. What a statement that was. A team that is now back into the Champions League, playing against what is a good Aston Villa team as well. Don't forget that was a good European side that we stood toe-to-toe against at St James's Park and we destroyed them in that second half. We played them off the park. And our bench was a big key factor in how the game actually ended. I think especially with Callum Wilson, Harvey Barnes, the likes of them. Even Jacob Murphy, I thought had a really good little spell in the game. They come off the bench, all of a sudden we've got more firepower and the goals just kept coming, and it could have been more, and for me it should have been more. We are now first in the table. We are going away to Manchester City on Saturday, 8 PM kickoff time. I mean, what a horrible kickoff time that is, but we are going to the champions of Europe. We're going to the champions of the Premier League. We are taking on the world's best in a match, in my opinion, we should be standing toe-to-toe with Manchester City. I'm not saying we should win the game, but we should be able now, I feel like, with where we are, to compete with the best of the best. I think we can take it to them. And if Man City want to beat us on Saturday, they have to play at their very best. That's what I think we are now as a club. And I can't wait to see how we do against them, because I think it's going to definitely tell where we are as a club. But anyway, guys, welcome back. Just because the season started does not mean that the transfer window has ended. You've seen it in the title, you've seen it in the thumbnail. Newcastle United are eyeing up a potential loan move for a left-back. Marc Cucurella from Chelsea and Kieran Tierney from Arsenal. Two left-backs that I actually could argue are good enough to start for us. I like both of them, I know for a fact. Especially Cucurella at Brighton. I know even Tierney last season, I like them both a lot. So we're going to talk about in this video, are they actually possible? What's going on with the reports here? And is there potential curveball in this transfer saga? I think after seeing the Cucurella stuff and then Newcastle went for Tierney, I think fans and journalists alike now are a bit cautious about what reports are going to put out due to the fact that Newcastle could use it for their own benefit and swoop in the back door and go sign someone else. I think the club does like to play the media. I think the club does like to try and control the media as well. They want certain things to go out there to protect their players in order for them to buy. They want certain things to go out that won't jeopardise their potential transfers, and that's just how it is in an active market. You've seen all sorts of different signings. I think Cucurella was a big one with Chelsea and Liverpool. The media reports coming out on him is just adding fire to that fuel, and it's going to be a big thing for Newcastle to try and close down on that so we can get the players through the door as quickly and as smoothly as possible. But unfortunately for them, I've got to do my YouTube videos. The reports have got to come out from the journalists. So we're going to react to them all. We're going to tell you everything about them. Let's see how things play out. Left-back situation, centre-back situation. I do think areas at Newcastle in the Champions League, you've got to have that squad depth available. I think the centre-half's the big one. Livramento, I could argue, is someone that can play both sides. But judging by this report today, it looks like he's more likely to be in the right. I think those two areas are definitely key for our success this season. We have to have the squad depth there. Enough delaying the inevitable. Let's show you the reports that came out this morning regarding Newcastle United's current left-back situation. It's been reported by a Telegraph. Big heads up and exclusive about Cucurella actually came out by a Telegraph as well, and we all know how that one turned out. So definitely do take it with a pinch of salt. But regardless of what happens in this case, there could be a possibility that Newcastle just use this to do something completely different. But on the FFP, Eddie Howe stated in the press conference last week before the Villa match how Newcastle have a limited budget to work with. He wants to bring in the correct players, but he has to work on the financial fair play. And this could be quite a smart way of going about it. Two left-backs with a lot of European experience under their belt. Now, we'll go for each individual one. So we'll begin off with Kieran Tierney. Of course, he's been at Arsenal for quite a long time now. Someone that has been reported a lot during this season about potentially going to Newcastle United. Him and Scott McTominay came out about halfway during the season. Eddie Howe's a big admirer of both of them. And I think with what he has to offer, I definitely would take him. Even in the limited time he gets for Arsenal, who's coming off the bench or he's getting that chance in the Europa League for them, I do rate him a lot. He's someone that I would definitely take in Newcastle. The only real concern for me as well, would Arsenal loan a player to us? I mean, Arsenal is a team that finished second last season. Arsenal is a team that wants to chase down Manchester City. Would they try and give us ammunition? Would they really help Newcastle? I just can't see why they would do that, to be honest. I mean, why? If they were needing to loan Tierney out, just loan him to a mid-table club, loan him somewhere abroad. You just wouldn't give him to a team that's going to be challenging them for the Champions League this season, potentially higher if we are that good. I just can't see why Arsenal would do that. So my personal opinion anyway, I just don't think they would loan us Tierney. But as for Marc Cucurella, he's a bit of a different one because, well, Chelsea's a team that finished 12th last season. It's a team now that has already sought a lot of players and has already brought in a lot of players. It's a team that doesn't mind selling to whoever the hell they want. You've seen Kovacic has went to Manchester City, a team that on paper wouldn't benefit the South too. But Chelsea's seen a good deal for him there. They decided, yeah, we're going to let him go to Manchester City. And I think this one's more realistic. I think Newcastle could get this one done. Now, my personal thoughts on Cucurella, I watched him last season. He was rubbish last season. I didn't like him at all. But to be fair, just every player at Chelsea sucked last year. So I don't think it's probably a fair comparison to really go, well, this guy's rubbish, he's this, he's that, based on that one season at Chelsea. Because I do remember him at Brighton, and he was very good for them. So it's Eddie Howe settling down on a season-long loan. I mean, what's the harm in loaning the guy? We're not buying him for ridiculous X, Y, and Z amount of money. We're just loaning the guy. So for me, if we can do it, it makes sense to loan him. I think we should be doing it. So regardless of which one it is, I like both of them. I'm not going to be picky. I do think both of them would actually be an upgrade in our current left back. With all due respect to Dan Burn, both of these lads are European experienced. They know exactly how to play in midweek and then go back in the Premier League. And let's say we do pick up an injury left back. We've got Matt Togg after him. And who else? Jamal Lewis, I don't even know anymore. He's on loan to Watford, actually. I don't even have him anymore. But yeah, we just don't have anyone left back, to be fair. So we've got to literally get someone in if we can. But I definitely keep an eye on those two for sure. As for potential other areas of the pitch Newcastle United could field in, the last time I made a transfer related video was on the Friday where we were talking about Craig Hope's article 6 players that Eddie Howe has in his wish list for that centre back position. Now, since that article came out, nothing else has been updated about the centre back situation. Newcastle trying to buy someone, Newcastle trying to loan someone. Nothing's came out whatsoever, so I can't update you in that personally. Now, one thing I'm surprised Newcastle probably haven't touched on so far in this window was the right hand side. I mean, you see Moussa Diaby, a player that Newcastle wanted last summer, play against us on that Saturday night. Scored after 10 minutes and someone that looked quite lively during the game. Now, if you had that in the background, by the way, it's actually a search helicopter at 10:30 in the morning. How the hell is there a search helicopter at 10:30 in the morning? I mean, mental. But back on topic, sorry. So, Diaby played against us, have a great game, and I'm thinking to myself, well, you look at Newcastle's right side, we've got Miggy there, Murphy, that's it. Let's see Miggy picks up an injury the first couple of games of the season. You're playing Murphy the entire campaign. And when you look at the left-hand side as well, Joel and Isak players that can cover there on top of the couple of players we've already got. I just feel like Newcastle probably should have had some on the right-hand side. I think Striker's the same situation again. Let's see Isak picks up an injury, got roasted for the entire campaign. All it takes is one injury, one suspension, and we're knackered. So I just thought those are two areas that we probably should have tried to cover. Hasn't happened yet. Be case I get the youngsters in after that. But for me, January time next summer, those are definitely key areas Newcastle need to use for now. But for the signs we've brought in, I don't know much about Livramento, but Barnes and Tonali, definitely two signs I do like a lot. And so far, they've shown it both in getting debut goals. It's just, there couldn't have been a better start at Newcastle. It's a fair play to both of them. But I feel like on the FFP, I know a lot of people can always ask the question, well, for example, let's say Aston Villa, well, they've signed all these players, how can they do it but we can't? Aston Villa 2 seasons ago, they sold Jack Grealish for £100 million. How can Chelsea do this? Chelsea sold 10 to 12 players during the summer window. They can bring some more in. Newcastle, we just haven't sold much. St Maximo was sold for just over £20 million. Chris Wood was around, what is it, 15 to 17 million pounds or so. Shelley was a minimal fee. We just haven't sought for much value, and that's the thing that's kind of bitten us in the backside at the minute. Might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but let's say 2 seasons time, an offer for Bruno comes in 120, 130 million pounds. Newcastle might actually end up going, well, you know what, we get that money in now because it's not just 130 million pounds. He can actually spend more than 130 million pounds because of the fact that he's been sold on the FFP. It sounds a bit flimsy, and everything about FFP is a nightmare to talk about, but we just haven't sought, which is why we can't spend as well as we can in the window. And it's just always been a bit of a ball ache, to be honest, when it comes towards FFP. Why can Newcastle not do this? Why can Newcastle not do that? But the club, even under it, we spent £140 million so far just in this transfer window alone. We spent £210 million over the last 3 windows. Newcastle are spending a lot with bringing in players that have improved the team. You've seen it on the pitch, and gradually over time we just will become a much better football team. And I think we will be consistently a top 6 team that is challenging for European major honours, that are challenging domestically for major honours, and I think we'll get there. It could even be this season where we finally break that 1955 domestic curse or 1969 European curse. We just can't win major honours, and I think for over 50 years at a club that is as huge as Newcastle United, it's just not good enough. I mean, we can do so much better than that, and I think I remember going to talking to the likes of Shea Gibbs. I mean, club legends that come out and they just talk about how we could have done this or we should have done this, and they just didn't do it. That's just the truth. Nobody did. Even Shearer couldn't do it. So now we've got that core of the team here. We've got everyone ready. We can do it. And I think that's always the thing that Newcastle fans that you've been just desperate for, just to see us win something. And I think after all these years, now I think we are in that steady position where consistently on a season upon season basis we will be looking to do that. We were unlucky last season, we lost in the final. This year, can we build on that? Can we do better? And if it doesn't happen this year, can we do it next year? And it's about the longevity, it's about continuing to build on what we've already established. So it's going to be a long process. As the ownership always says, we're here for the long term. It's going to be a good 15 to 20 year process. It's going to be long. So be ready for it. Enjoy the ride is what I shall say. And I shall leave you off on that because, well, left back situation, we'll see what happens in this case. I like both of these players though, so definitely if Newcastle have a choice in this and Newcastle just only get one option, I think we should be taking it. We'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens to the centre-back scenario. But appreciate you guys watching anyway. I'll update you tomorrow. Take care, and I will see you all in the next one.